Okay, let's look at the cubital fossa. So in this session, we will define what the cubital fossa is, where is it situated, the shape of the cubital fossa, the boundaries, and the contents, as well as we also look at the clinical significance of the cubital fossa. So um, this is simply a triangular space in just front of your elbow joint. So on the elbow, now joint now on the anterior side. That's where the cubital fossa is located. So let's look at the boundaries. So we have already done muscles of the anterior arm as well as the anterior forearm. So when you are doing the cubital fossa, make sure you start with the muscles, right? Start by knowing the muscles because it will help you in terms of you knowing about the boundaries and um, and also the contents. So you start with the arm, then you go to the forearm muscles, then that's when you can go to the boundaries now. I mean to the cubital fossa itself, right? So this, we know that a triangle is made up of a base, right? So we've got the base, we've got the apex, the medial wall, the lateral wall. Uh, we also have the roof as well as the floor. So what is the base made up of? A base simply an imaginary line between the two condyles, epicondyles of the humerus. So you draw a line from the medial to lateral side, okay, on the arm, just distally there. So from one epicondyle to the other epicondyle, these imaginary lines, this is what forms the base. So an imaginary line from one epicondyle of the humerus laterally to the epicondyle which is on the medial side of the humerus. That's the base. Lateral boundary, we have got the brachioradialis. So brachioradialis is simply coming from the arm to the radial bone, okay, to the radius. And medially formed by the pronator teres. Okay, you have to be specific. It's the lateral border of the pronator teres. Then apex is formed by the overlap of pronator teres and the brachioradialis, where these overlap. What about the roof? The roof simply composed of the skin, superficial fascia, which has got cephalic vein, okay, cephalic vein, lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm, basilic vein, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, and medial cubital vein. This is the median cubital vein, which is important for um, draining of blood, right? We also have the deep fascia and bicipital aponeurosis. The floor is simply the brachialis muscle. Brachialis muscle is just below the biceps brachii. When you remove the biceps brachii, you're going to see the brachialis muscle, as well as the supinator. So what are the contents of the cubital fossa? We say MBBR. Okay? MBBR. Okay, here they're saying MBBS. But anyways, MBBR means median nerve, brachial artery, biceps brachii muscle. This is tendon and the radial nerve. But it should be superficial branch of the radial nerve. So those are the contents, right? MBBR. Median nerve, brachial artery, biceps brachii, tendon of the biceps brachii, and the superficial branch of the radial nerve. What is the clinical application? Clinical application, we measure blood pressure from here, from the brachial artery. That's where we get blood pressure from, BP. Okay. We also drain blood from here, draw blood from here as well. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's all about the cubital fossa. So I've talked about where it's situated, which is what is the definition of the cubital fossa, we've talked about the situation, which is located in the anterior part of the elbow joint, and that it's a triangular space that is on the anterior elbow joint. We've talked about the boundaries, okay? Base, the lateral wall, and the medial wall, as well as the apex. Talked about the roof, the floor, and the contents of the cubital fossa. And we have also mentioned about the clinical importance of the cubital fossa. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video.